What can really make a man no golden money clips and honey dips don't make a brother no dough, don't make a brother golden. What can really make a man? Is he really real? Let me let you know the deal. What makes a man golden is not what he's holding.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching my channel. My name is Lena, founder of Jaded Nutrition. I'm going to talk to you about health claims. Next time you go to the grocery store, take a look down the aisles at all the packaged food and all the health claims those foods have. You're going to see things like high in fiber, low in fat, no sugar added, all natural. What do these health claims mean, and can we trust them? I always get slightly annoyed when I go into the supermarket and I see all of these processed packaged foods that claim to be healthy. The food industry would really love us all to believe that they're giving us products that build our health up, when the truth is these products are not healthy for us. It doesn't matter all of the health claims they may have. If you're eating processed food, it's not going to be healthy. So let's break these down a little bit. When you see a packaged food that says high in fiber, now this one could be okay because there's a lot of things that say high in fiber that are good to eat. For example, getting a package of unsweetened shredded coconut, it might say high in fiber on the label. This is actually good. This might not be such a bad health claim. When you look at the back of the nutrition label, it's important to look at how much fiber a food contains that you're eating. The more carbohydrates a food has, with the least amount of fiber it has, means that it's going to affect your insulin much greater than a food would that had high amounts of fiber. So you want to make sure that if a food has lots of carbs, it contains lots of fiber as well. You want to make sure that that fiber nets off those carbs. Products like cereal, in particular all bran, will say high in fiber. This isn't necessarily so good. First of all, the fiber found in bran is very hard on your digestive tract. You want to make sure that you're eating foods that help to push waste out of your system, not scrape the side of your colon or your bowels. Fiber from bran is very hard on your system, and when you eat it in the form of something like all bran, you're also getting a lot of sugar and a lot of refined carbs and a lot of processing. So any kind of cereal that has a health claim, I usually don't even pay attention to it. I personally don't eat store-bought cereal. I make my own granola because I know that cereals pack a really big punch of sugar and a really big punch of refined carbs, and I don't want that in my diet. It doesn't matter if the box says low in fat or a natural source of this or a natural source of that. I don't eat breakfast cereal. Breakfast cereal is one of the main foods that I always suggest to my clients to cut out. There's a lot of hidden and nasty ingredients in breakfast cereal, and again, it's processed. The health claim, all natural. This can be really frustrating for people when they see this because they pick up a product and it says all natural. So naturally, they think that it's good for you. When I pick up a product like Sunripe orange juice and it says all natural, I have to laugh to myself because yes, it might be made of oranges, which are natural, but those oranges are juiced, there's no fiber left in them, and they inject as much sugar as they possibly can into that juice. So parts of it might be natural, sugar is natural, but it doesn't mean that it's healthy for you. Cyanide is natural, cocaine is natural, but that doesn't necessarily mean that those are good for you. So when you see the label all natural on a food, you have to take it back to the ingredient label. what is in the ingredient list. If it really is all natural foods with minimal processing, then it's okay. But if you're looking at a food and there's a bunch of sugar or a bunch of ingredients that aren't natural and only a few that are, that's not a good product. The next label, gluten-free. This is one of the biggest fads that we're going through. And I'm not saying that eating gluten-free isn't a good way to go if you're celiac, but for most people, eating gluten isn't a big deal. Where it is a big deal is when it's genetically modified. So the wheat that we're consuming today is much different than the wheat that we were consuming 100 years ago. The soil is depleted, the crops are genetically modified, and wheat is not a healthy choice anymore. It's one of the most widely pesticide crops and the most genetically modified. So when people go gluten-free, this is one of the biggest things that they're cutting out of their diet. It's genetic modification, and it's eating foods that have been sprayed with herbicides and pesticides. Gluten itself isn't the issue, it's the quality. So when a product says gluten-free, it doesn't mean that it's healthy. All that means is it doesn't contain wheat. So it's safe for celiacs to eat, which is great, but only a very small percentage of people are actually diagnosed with celiac. For the rest of us, eating gluten-free has become kind of this posh fad thing that we do. You go to a restaurant and you get the gluten-free option, not realizing that that product might still be made from suboptimal ingredients like white rice, white potato starch. Just because it's gluten-free doesn't mean that it's healthy. Look at the back of the ingredient label. Lots of the times, gluten-free foods will be high in refined carbs. There are other carbs, but they're still refined, and they still have lots of sugar added to them. The next label, low in fat. If you see a product that says low in fat, run. This is one of the biggest scams that we will have ever experienced in nutrition. When the food industry decided to take fat out of food, they had to replace it with something else because the food no longer was palatable. It didn't taste good. So what did they put in? They put in lots of sugar, lots of carbs, lots of salt, anything to make it taste better. When you see a product that says low in fat, you can be sure that there are a ton of other nasty ingredients. First and foremost, there will probably be a high amount of sugar. If it's low in fat, it will be high in something else because you can't take something away without replacing it. You can't take fat out of a food without replacing it. Fat was never our issue. We need fat to live. If you sucked all the fat out of your body, you would die in an instant. Fat was never making us fat. It was sugar that was making us fat. It was those refined carbs and the processing of food. We've made fat a villain for way too long. And now we're only starting to realize in the last 5 to 10 years the damage that's been done by taking fat out of our diet. So a lot of the time, people will see low fat and they'll think it's a good option. It's a bad option. And I don't even like to use the word bad with food. Low fat is a bad option, unless it's something that's naturally low in fat like an apple. But again, natural foods don't come with health claims. The more health claims a food has, the more you should be worrying about it. Whole foods don't come with health claims. They speak for themselves. Another label that you would see is no sugar added. This can be both positive and negative depending on the product. If I'm eating something like a Lara bar, which is made from dates and nuts, it may be high in sugar because of the dates, but there's no refined sugar added. This is a good option. If you're drinking juice that claims to have no sugar added, again, you're still drinking juice. All the fiber has been taken out of the fruit and you're drinking straight sugar. drinking juice is not a good idea. We want to make sure that we're drinking minimal juice, minimal soft drinks, anything with high amounts of sugar in it. Make sure that you're always reading the back of your ingredient label. Ingredients should all be natural. You should be able to pronounce them, you should know where they come from, and they should be organic as much as possible, choosing organic. If you eat whole food, you don't need to worry about health claims. You don't need to worry if something is low fat, gluten-free, no sugar added. You're going to be eating foods that are naturally healthy for your body. Again, there's a lot of foods, natural foods, that still aren't good for you. One in particular, sugar. You can eat lots of sugar, even in its natural form, and you're still going to get sick. You'll still put weight on, you'll still accumulate fat in your liver. It doesn't matter that it came from maple syrup or honey. You need to realize that the way we consume sugar is much different than we were created to. It was never as available as it is today. So the next time you go to the grocery store, keep an eye out for all of the different foods that claim to be healthy and use your better judgment. Read ingredient labels and choose whole foods whenever possible. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please leave me a comment below, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jaded Nutrition, share this video, like it, and have an awesome day. Take care.